If you are an immigrant living in or traveling through the United States right now, there is something happening at airports across this country that you absolutely need to know about. And more importantly, there are three specific documents that could make the difference between walking through that terminal with confidence and finding yourself in a situation you never expected. Welcome back to Immigration News Today. I am so glad you are here today because what I am about to share with you is not about fear. It is about preparation. It is about walking into any airport in America knowing exactly what you have, what your rights are, and how to protect yourself and your family. So please stay with me all the way to the end of this video because every single minute of this content matters for you. As of April 2026, the landscape at American airports has changed significantly. What many people do not fully realize is that Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the federal agency known as ICE, has been deployed to dozens of major airports across the United States. This is not a rumor. This is not social media speculation. This is confirmed by official statements from the Department of Homeland Security and has been reported by credible news organizations, including Reuters and the Associated Press. The deployment began in earnest in March 2026, and as of late March, ICE agents had been confirmed at major hubs including Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, both Houston airports, George Bush Intercontinental and William P. Hobby, and John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York, among others. And here is the critical piece of context you need to understand. More airports are expected to be added to that list. Now, how did we get here? The short answer involves a partial government shutdown that began affecting the Department of Homeland Security in mid-February 2026. That funding disruption left tens of thousands of TSA officers working without pay. And according to multiple credible reports, hundreds of those officers have since quit or called out sick, resulting in security lines stretching for hours at major airports. In response, the administration began redeploying hundreds of ICE officers to airports to assist with operations managing queues, guarding exit lanes, and checking passenger identification. And while the official description of their role is support for TSA operations, here is what every immigrant needs to understand clearly. ICE officers do not leave their immigration enforcement authority at the door when they step into an airport terminal. Under federal statute 8 U.S.C. Section 1357, ICE officers carry the power to conduct searches, make arrests, and question individuals about their immigration status wherever they are deployed. That authority does not pause because they are also helping move a line along. So let me ask you something. If an ICE officer approached you in an airport today, right now, would you know what to show them? Would your documents be current, valid, and on your person? Would you know what you are legally required to carry and what is simply advisable to have? These are the questions we are answering today, and I want you to walk away from this video feeling clear, calm, and completely prepared. Let us talk about the three documents every immigrant must carry. And I want to be precise here because the right document depends on your immigration status. And that distinction matters enormously in an enforcement environment like the one we are in right now. The first document is your primary proof of lawful status. This is your foundational document, the one that establishes who you are and what your legal standing is in the United States. For lawful permanent residents, also known as green card holders, that document is your permanent resident card, officially called Form I-551. Federal law under 8 U.S.C. Section 1304E requires that lawful permanent residents aged 18 and older carry this card at all times. This is not a suggestion. This is a legal requirement, and failing to carry it can result in a fine of up to $100 and even up to 30 days in jail. Though in practice, the more immediate risk is being detained, questioned at length, and potentially missing your flight while your status is verified. If your green card is expired, do not assume that is fine. An expired green card on its own is a problem. However, If you have filed Form I-90 to renew it and have a USCIS receipt notice, carry that receipt notice with your card. If you have a conditional green card with a pending I-751 petition, carry both the card and the I-751 receipt notice together. For non-immigrant visa holders, and this is a large and diverse group that includes people on H-1B work visas, L-1 intracompany transfer visas, F-1 student visas, O-1 visas for extraordinary ability, TN visas, E-2 investor visas, B-1 and B-2 visitors, and others. Your primary proof of status is your valid, unexpired passport combined with your visa stamp. Those two things together form your foundational document set. For asylees and refugees, your primary proof of status is your asylum approval letter or your refugee travel document, depending on how your protection was granted. For individuals with temporary protected status, also known as TPS, or those with DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, your Employment Authorization Document or EAD card serves as a critical proof of status. Immigration attorneys and legal organizations across the country, including those cited in guidance published by the National Police Accountability Project, consistently emphasize that for DACA recipients especially, carrying proof of that status when traveling is not optional. It is essential. The second document is your I-94 arrival and departure record. If you are not a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident, the I-94 is one of the most important documents in your entire immigration life. And it is one that too many people overlook or forget to check. The I-94 is the official record maintained by U.S. Customs and Border Protection that shows when you entered the United States, under what status, and when your authorized period of stay expires. CBP stopped issuing paper I-94 cards at most airports several years ago, which means most people's I-94 record is electronic and can be accessed through the CBP website at i94.cbp.gh.gov. Here is what I want you to do right now, or as soon as this video is over. Go to that CBP website and pull up your most recent I-94 record. Look at the class of admission. That tells you the visa category under which you entered. Look at the admit until date. That tells you the outer limit of your authorized stay unless you have an approved extension or change of status. Print it, screenshot it, save it to your phone's camera roll, and when you travel, have it accessible. Immigration attorneys at law firms advising clients on airport travel in 2026, including attorneys at Reddy Newman Brown PC and Minsky, McCormick and Halligan, consistently recommend that non-immigrant visa holders carry their most recent I-94 as part of their standard travel documents. Why? Because if an ICE officer asks you about your status, and you can show them not only your passport and visa stamp, but also a current, valid I-94 that confirms your lawful admission and authorized period of stay, you are giving that officer a complete and verifiable picture of your status right there in the moment. That can mean the difference between a brief, routine exchange and a prolonged secondary screening. For H-1B and L-1 visa holders in particular, having your I-94 also allows you to match your admission record to your current employer petition, which leads us directly to the third document. The third document is your USCIS approval notice or status-specific supporting paperwork. Let me explain what this means for different categories of travelers. If you are on an H-1B work visa, you should carry your most recent Form I-797 approval notice. That is the official USCIS document that authorizes your employment petition. You should also carry a recent pay stub and a letter from your employer confirming your employment, your position, and your work authorization. Why? Because in 2026, immigration officers are paying close attention to whether a person's stated employment and status match their records. Immigration attorneys and reporting from visa-focused outlets have noted that USCIS is now conducting tighter electronic checks, including social media consistency reviews and cross-referencing of tax returns and form submissions. If there are mismatches in your records, say your LinkedIn profile says you work for a company that differs from what is on your I-797, that can invite closer scrutiny. So make sure everything is aligned and that you have the paperwork to prove it. For L1 visa holders, the same principle applies. Carry your I-797 and your employment verification letter. For F1 students, your Form I-20, issued by your college or university's designated school official, is your status-specific document, and it must be current and signed. If you are on optional practical training, also known as OPT, your EAD card is equally essential. For exchange visitors on J1 visas, carry your DS 2019 form. For individuals with pending applications, say an adjustment of status case or an extension of stay pending with USCIS, carry your receipt notices, known as I-797C. These receipt notices confirm that USCIS has your application on file. They are not the same as approval, but in an enforcement encounter, they provide important context that shows you are actively engaged with the legal immigration system. Now, there is something I want to address directly because I hear this question a lot. People ask, does all of this apply to me if I am just taking a domestic flight? And the answer in 2026 is yes. Domestic travel rules have not changed in the sense that your immigration status is not affected by flying within the United States, but the environment at airports has changed. ICE officers are present at airports for both domestic and international terminals in many locations, and their authority to enforce immigration law does not depend on whether the flight you are catching is going to Miami or Manila. If an ICE officer approaches you at a domestic gate and asks for identification, your immigration documents are your best protection. Carry them in your carry-on bag, not your checked luggage. That is a critical practical point. If your bag is checked and something happens at the gate or at security, you need those documents on your person or in the bag that is with you. Let me also talk about what to do if you are approached by an ICE officer. First, stay calm. Do not run. Do not argue. Do not resist, even if you feel the encounter is unfair. Staying calm protects you legally. Second, you have the right to remain silent. Under the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, you are not required to answer questions about your immigration history, where you were born, or how you entered the United States. You can politely say, "I am choosing to remain silent and would like to speak with an attorney." Third, you have the right to ask for an attorney. If you are detained or moved to a secondary area, clearly and calmly state that you wish to speak with a lawyer before signing or agreeing to anything. This point about signing cannot be overstated. Do not sign documents at an airport that you do not fully understand. A rushed signature can sometimes mean waiving rights you did not even know you had, or agreeing to a process that has serious long-term consequences. If you are pressured to sign something, politely but firmly repeat that you want an attorney present first. Fourth, do not consent to searches of your phone or personal belongings without a warrant. You can say, "I do not consent to a search." Officers may still conduct a search in certain circumstances, but your objection is legally meaningful. Fifth, do not provide false information. Presenting false or expired documents to a DHS officer can lead to removal proceedings or even criminal prosecution. Before you travel anywhere, take a few practical steps. Talk to your immigration attorney about your specific situation. This is especially important if you have a pending application, an old immigration court case, a prior removal order, or any unresolved matters in your immigration history. An attorney can assess your specific risk and advise you on whether travel is advisable at this time. Share your travel itinerary, your flight details, destination, and expected return date with a trusted family member or close friend. If something happens and you are detained, having someone who knows your plans can make an enormous difference in getting you legal help quickly. Have an emergency contact plan. Know the phone number of your immigration attorney by memory or have it saved in a place that is accessible to someone who can reach out on your behalf. Make photocopies of all your immigration documents and leave one full set with a trusted person at home. And check the official USCIS website, uscis.gov, before you travel because processing times, form requirements, and policy guidance can and do change. The CBP website, cbp.gov, and the ICE website, ice.gov, are also authoritative sources for the most current enforcement guidance. One more important development you should be aware of concerns Employment Authorization Documents, or EADs. On December 4, 2025, USCIS shortened certain EAD validity periods to 18 months. This is a significant change from previous practice. If you have an EAD, check its expiration date right now. If it is expiring within the next several months, speak with your immigration attorney about filing for renewal as early as possible. The 18-month validity period means you will need to renew more frequently than before, and given current USCIS processing times, starting early is essential. Additionally, as of November 20, 2025, DHS expanded its biometric entry and exit system to all ports of entry, including air, land, and sea. This means more of your travel data, including biometric information, is being captured and cross-referenced with immigration records at a broader scale than ever before. This underscores the importance of having your records clean, consistent, and current. Before I close today, I want to remind you of something important. Immigration policy in the United States can change rapidly. What is accurate as of April 9, 2026, today's date, may shift in the weeks and months ahead. That is why I always encourage you to verify any information you receive, including information in this video, against official sources, USCIS, DHS, CBP, and ICE. And for your individual situation, please consult with a qualified immigration attorney. Nothing in this video constitutes legal advice. Every immigration case is unique, and the guidance that is right for one person may be entirely different for another. What this video gives you is a foundation, a starting point for the conversations you need to have with the professionals who can advise you directly. Please remember, being prepared is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself and your family. Knowing your documents, knowing your rights, and having a plan before you walk into that airport puts you in a far stronger position than going in uncertain. Immigration enforcement has expanded significantly, and the airports of 2026 are a different environment than they were even a year ago. But you are not helpless. You are informed, you are prepared, and you have community, including this channel, standing alongside you. If this video helped you, please take a moment to like it and share it with someone in your life who needs to hear this. Whether it is a family member, a coworker, a neighbor, or a friend who is planning to travel, this information could genuinely matter for them. Subscribe to Immigration News Today if you have not already done so that you never miss an update. We are committed to bringing you accurate, balanced, and compassionate immigration news that helps you navigate this complex landscape with confidence. And check the description below this video, where we have linked to official resources, including the USCIS website, the CBP I-94 portal, and ICE's official guidance page. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We know these topics can feel overwhelming, and we want you to know that your safety, your dignity, and your future matter. Keep your documents ready, keep your knowledge current, and take care of yourself and the people around you. We will see you in the next video, right here on Immigration News Today. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember, preparation is your greatest protection.